Already. Yep, ready when you guys are. In 3, 2. Post game as Vermont defeats NJIT 65-32. Mike Ventola here with head coach Mike Lane. And coach, quite simply, is this a game where you want to take the box score you just got, crumble it up, and throw it away?
Yeah, I think we did that at halftime. Yeah, it was just a really bad night. Just a bad night. Nothing. We didn't do much on defense. Didn't do much on offense. The first 2 possessions of the game, I think we threw 1 pass and we had 2 turnovers. Just didn't start off well. Obviously, hats off to Vermont. They hit everything early. 60% at halftime is an unreal number. But I'm going to blame our defense for a lot of that as well. As well as they played, I thought we also gave them easy looks. We didn't even get a miss out of Olsen. Didn't hardly guard her at all. So just a very soft effort throughout defensively.
And it's one thing, too, if they're red hot, you're hoping maybe you have a shooter, maybe 2 that can pick up some steam and get going. It was a cold night for everybody. And I know that's tough to swallow at times, especially because of how well your team played on Wednesday coming from behind and thought maybe some of that momentum would carry over.
Yep.
That just simply wasn't the case, as, of course, Vermont was, 9 for 14 at one point, and, of course, you guys were 1 for 14 to begin the game.
Yeah, and I'll have to go back and look at those 14. I felt like we didn't throw up many makeable shots, quite honestly. I thought some of the shots that we made or that we took that we could make, we made 4 of them in the first half. I think maybe we took 8 shots that might have had a real good chance of going in. I thought a lot of our shots were bad, were forced, were going away from the basket. Again, a very soft night defensively and equally soft on the offensive end. You can't play Division I college basketball fading away from the basket. You just can't do it. And we keep thinking we can. And you just don't shoot well when you're fading away from the basket. And we just continue to do that. And we're trying to work on it, but we're getting into games, and that's what we're kind of falling back into. And again, you can't start a game like that. We're starting every game in a real big hole. I didn't see this one coming. I thought they were in a good shape. In the locker room, I thought they had good energy. Obviously, when the ball's not going in, it's hard to find energy. And I thought that was just a snowball rolling downhill. It turned into an avalanche, unfortunately.
No, and I know at one point you have no problem getting players off the bench that maybe don't play as often. I know, at some point as head coach, you have to put in the revolving 5 that's going to get the job done. So we saw Kennedy Cash, Lindsay Cyrek, players who may not get as much time, get some opportunity. Was there anything here tonight that you can look at and say, okay, maybe we did this okay? Was there anything you can find at all, or is it just like we've been talking about? Says, hey, let's crumble it up and on again. So
I'll have to watch film and find a positive. I knew we had 12 offensive rebounds at halftime, but when you miss 26 shots, I hope you get some offensive rebounds. Right. Not a whole lot of positive, quite honestly. And I did go to the bench and I gave the seniors a little bit of a chance. I put in Kendall, put in Meaty, put in Kennedy with Kenna. I think with Turan, I can't remember who the 5th was. Just trying to show some pride here. That's just not a first quarter that we played, and we just couldn't really get it going in the second quarter either. The second quarter wasn't much better. Am I proud that we showed some grit and some fight in the second half? Certainly. But law of averages, they weren't going to shoot 60% all night. So, proud of that, I guess, in some degree that we just didn't throw in the towel. And that is a positive to get some kids some real game experience, and I think we saw that tonight with Lindsay Cyrek. Hasn't had a lot of minutes even in her career, so that's good time against big kids that she has to be able to guard. And getting Avery some more, kind of experience on the floor, getting Reese more experience on the floor, all good. And even Alejandra, who had maybe like her toughest game to date, but this is great for her, and that's why I told her when she came off the court, like, hey, you need these kind of games sometimes, especially as a freshman point guard, and to figure out how to play and play through this, and getting targeted a little bit more. So I thought she really struggled, but this is great stuff to have on film.
I know you finish up your first tour of the America East schedule on Wednesday at a UMBC team that you haven't seen. Let's be honest, the COVID-19 regulations certainly did not allow that the last 2 seasons. So this is going to be your first look against UMBC on Wednesday. They're now 5-2 in the America East Conference. So, of course, every game is important here in conference play. So between now and Wednesday, I'm sure a lot to go over. How much film will be? I know you, the coaches, but will you allow the players to see some of the film on this, or is this?
Yeah,
one
we got to
like,
watch. We got to watch this one. It's not. Sometimes it's one of those where you come pull it up and you just burn the tape kind of
Right.
thing. I just think there's too much that was poor today, I'm using the word soft a lot, which is a tough word for a team to hear. So if you're going to use that tough a word, I think we have to really show it to them. So unfortunately, they're lucky because care hours allow us. We have to be off on Sunday.
Right, yes.
But this would be one of those like we would love to get up early tomorrow morning,
Yep.
and have to kind of relive this nightmare. But no, they need to look at some stuff here. I think we do. I think the staff does. I think I do, obviously. But we just didn't have an answer in any way. And Vermont's very good. I knew going in computer-wise, they're the top team in the league.
They
played a great schedule. They have very good wins. And so we know they did this to us last year in this building, the same exact game, almost a carbon copy. So we got to figure out how to dig out of this and figure out a way to play them. But UMBC is not going to be easy, and that's another thing I said to them. We have to pay attention to ourselves here and clean up our own house, but we have to learn UMBC. As you said, we haven't seen them. A really new kind of cast of characters. They hit the portal pretty hard, have a whole new team and playing very well. So an incredibly tough task on Wednesday night in Baltimore for sure.
Well, best of luck, safe travels down to Baltimore, and we look forward to seeing you in February, and hopefully it'll be a win on Wednesday down in UMBC.
That would be nice.
All right, Coach, as always, thanks for joining us. And once again, Vermont victorious over NJIT.